Hey, I'm going to try to do this live. I believe I'm doing it live. Yes, I'm still in the hill country of Texas, Kerrville, Texas at the moment. I'm in my studio hotel room that I've set up, the studio here for recording and some other stuff, and wanted to share with you a story that happened today. I'll be here for one more week, and then after this week, Sunday will be my last day. Monday, I'll be heading to Truth or Consequences, New Mexico for tent revival with Pastor Caleb Cooper in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Leave Monday. It starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Who knows how long that lasts. But anyways, I'll be in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. This is my last week here that I know of for now. Anyways, in Kerrville, Hunt, Texas, Medina, and who knows wherever else God's putting me in the hill country. Some of you have been waiting for the worship mix, the new mixes. Yes, finally got them done. It's taken a while. Wow. I'm going to hold this up. This one says Turning Point. And this is one of the latest ones I did a few days ago. And it's been, wow, it's been amazing. God always gets all the glory. That's coming your way to many of you. And then this one was made last night. This is one that God put on my heart that is inspired from Charlie Kirk and the memorial worship time that they had there. And so the Lord spoke to me about doing something along the lines of a lot of the music that was sang in worship, that corporately people worship together. And that's called, the memorial. And so anyways, that'll be part of a 4 or 5, it'll be a set, and I'll send that out as I can. But wanted to just tell you thank you to those who praying for me and my family. Boy, do we need it. And it's been a long road, and it's not over. Many of the mental health experts and others are saying this a little over 3 months now since the 4th of July flood, and a lot of things that people deal with emotionally and normally, in tragic situations or catastrophes start to happen, unfortunately, in different periods and seasons and waves of things. And so they said it's probably going to be pretty intense, especially in the holidays. So there's some crazy things, and I do a lot of crazy things for Jesus that I'll be working on and a part of. But I want to share with you, hey, Pat, how are you? And I will have a couple days at the hotel. We're working during the holiday season where I'll have a ballroom open, and it'll be worship music from the mornings till the evenings. And you're free to come and go as you please. Talk to the hotel. We're working on some things now for that, maybe 2 or 3 days at the most around the holidays, where people can come in and take a break, and worship music will be playing, and I'll set the atmosphere, the lighting, and all kinds of other stuff. So that'll be really awesome. And it'll be something that I'm not just doing here, but we'll be doing various other places, and we are working on that. So I came on to live to tell you the story. I've always had different gear and equipment, and it goes to various places. A lot of times I end up, planting it into some other ministry or some other ministry that I'm working with or whatever. So I've been building up and gathering things in the past few months, and now I have the need for a trailer because it doesn't fit in the back of my little Nissan Titan. I look like the Beverly Hillbillies stacking everything up, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. So I was talking to Pat Jordan and Chris Daniel, and I said, man, I'm going to have to get a trailer. And Pat says, yeah, you need a double axle trailer for sure. So I'm looking online to try to find out where there might be such a thing or such a place where sell here in this area, and there really isn't. And the closest I found was in San Antonio at one place. It's called National. I'm looking at the card right now. National Trailers in San Antonio, and they're about 85 miles from here. So I've been looking up the trailer and what I believe that that I would need. All the other trailers that I was looking at that the truck could pull and everything. A lot of those trailers and cargo trailers are coming out of Georgia, and they're made in Georgia. So there was a particular brand that I really liked, and I thought, wow, shoot, I wish there was something closer, because I really like this branded trailer and the way it looks and what it represents. And so I had looked online at National Trailers, and I thought, okay, Monday comes around, I'll call them, and I wanted to get a price out the door. What's it going to take out the door to pull up and get that trailer and be on with it. Load everything out of Pat's garage, which everything's been stored there mostly, and a little bit here, in my studio hotel room, but really it's all at Pat's place. So I I thought, oh, you know what, I'll go today and just go look at the trailer to make sure it's what I want, because you look online, but I want to see it. And that's usually what I do is I scout, I pray, I go, I look, and I see what I feel that I need for what I'm doing. So this morning I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just, it's 80 something miles away. I don't have much gas. I'm negative $54 on my account, or $46 on my account. Live by faith. And I thought maybe I'd just call them and just say, okay, I'm interested in that one trailer, that 6x12, out the door, how much? And the Lord really impressed upon me, and he did. No, you need to drive there. You need to go there. I said, well, I don't have the gas to really get there and get back. So about 10 minutes later, someone had Zelled me some money that covered the negative in my account and gave me enough gas to go put gas in my truck and drive to 80-something miles to San Antonio to National Trailers. So here comes the story, okay? And this happens a lot to me, especially where I'm at now, but a lot, all the time. And so I'm like, all right, Lord, I got gas. I'm on my way. And I always let someone know I'm on the road, because every time I get on the road, it's like someone trying to kill me all the time. So I'm heading to San Antonio. I'm heading to Nationwide Trailers. And as I get closer, I'm like, okay, finally I'm getting here. I'll be able to see the trailers that, will fit the need and fit the purpose. I said, it's too bad it doesn't have that one trailer that I really like, because I really felt that was the trailer that I needed. So I get there, and they got a lot of trailers, and it's amazing. I'm looking at the trailers outside, and they do all kinds of trailers. Just enclosed every kind. They've been around for a long time. And so I'm looking at the trailers out front, and I see the black one. It's called Blackout, and it's all black. And it's really, really unique. And I see they have the one that I'm like, wait a minute, they have a 6x12, and it's not even on their list. And that brand is the brand that I was looking for. So I see that, I take a picture of it. I go inside, and I'm talking to the manager. His name is Jeremy. I have his card right here. And I'm telling Jeremy my story, how God had pulled me here to Kerrville. And I said, I just drove 80-something miles from Kerrville. Look at your trailers. I see that you have this Blackout trailer out front, a 6x12. He goes, we do? I don't. He looks in the computer. I didn't see that in our inventory. And I said, yeah, it's right out there. So we walk out and we look at the trailer. He goes, oh my gosh, we do. And I said, I love this trailer brand. I didn't know you carried it. He goes, yeah, they're from Georgia. I'm like, yeah, I looked online. I saw them from the home base is Georgia. They're made in Georgia. And I didn't think there was any reps out here. And he goes, we are. And I'm like, wow. And he goes, wow. I said, so can we go back in and talk about this? He said, sure. So we go back in and tell him my journey a little bit, and that I need a price out the door on that trailer. I didn't tell him I was negative $46 on my account just 2 hours earlier. It's a faith journey, right? So I spent 57 days with Pat Jordan. Thank God Pat took care of me 57 days. I've been at the hotel now by faith for 29 days. Yeah, not for free. And grateful for the break, grateful to be here. Trust me, it's worked out really good in that respect. So I'm talking to Jeremy, and I said how God had brought me here after camp and the 4th of July flood, and I'd seen all the things that happened. I said, have you been to the Kerrville Crossing? He said, no. And I said, well, I've had worship music there playing 13 years, 24/7. So I've met hundreds and hundreds of people from Texas and all around the country, around the world. And actually, thousands have been touched by the music every year. And I said, I was here because of the flood. And eventually, went to Kerrville, and then the first responders were coming. So I'm telling him the whole story, and he goes, my in-laws live in Hunt. Let me back up. I drive 80-something miles to go look at a trailer, but now I'm meeting someone whose in-laws, family, lives in Hunt. I said, well, were you guys affected by that? He goes, yeah, well, they're right along the river. And every 4th of July, I go to my in-laws with my family, my wife and my family, and we spend 4th of July there at their place in Hunt, just a couple miles up past Hunt towards Mystic. And I said, I'm very familiar with that because I spent 4 weeks in what was left of the Hunt store doing worship music because the owner, Haley, said that I could be there, and also worked with Sarah. So it was amazing. As part of her establishing all the different things Sarah did for the Hunt store and the surrounding area and the community. And I'm talking to Jeremy, and I said, so you didn't go there for the July. He goes, no, my in-laws had something else they had to do, so we were going to leave the next day. So let me get this straight. Because they were out of town and weren't there and you weren't there, you're all alive. He said, yeah. But 12 of their neighbors, their friends, are not. Wow. I said, I'm so sorry. He goes, I said, when did you finally get to go there? He goes, about a week later, when they finally allowed people to come, we were able to go. And that the house was at one point 12 feet underwater. So let me get this straight, God. I'm looking for a trailer. You send me 80 miles away. I could have just called because I didn't have the gas to get there, but you want me to meet Jeremy. Yep. So I told Jeremy, I said, I'm here for another week. What I've been doing, eventually I'll be back down to Hunt. I'll be back in the Hill Country in November, first week in November for another gathering, and then I will be doing some other stuff, and I plan on being around for the holidays. So Jeremy says, that trailer, the black one, I can give it to you for $6,435 out the door. Okay. Thank you, Jeremy. I have my price. I have what I'm praying and believing for. And let me tell you, what was amazing was I was able to give Jeremy worship music. And I was able to tell him, please let your in-laws know that I'm praying for them. He goes, Hunt is a very, very tight community, Bobby. I said, I have found that out. I said, I've talked to some people in the area that survived. I've talked to others, responders, first responders, all kinds of people. So I know a lot of stories that we don't even want to talk about, do we, Jeremy? He goes, no. No. He said, I spent a lot of time there and I loved it. And it's when we saw what happened, it's just beyond description. I said, if any of the video and anything you've seen on YouTube or any of the media, is it accurately described or the emotion, the feeling, what you see? He goes, no. And I said, I agree. And I was only there 30-something days afterwards because I was at the curve at the cross the whole time. But responders and others were coming up telling me the stories. And I was watching video every day, of what was going on at the river until eventually I was able to go and spend a little over 4 weeks there. So came on today to thank you to those who are helping me, that feel led to help me. We'll post some links down below if you want to help to continue the journey. I need that trailer. I was telling him, well, my Nissan Titan, pull it. And he said, yeah. So my Nissan Titan still needs some mechanical work done to it. I'm 2 months late on my tags on my truck. So I was supposed to be August. So here I am now. What is this? September? June, July, August. Wherever I'm at. I think I'm in September. I am. And so I'm 2 months late on my tags, and I can't renew them until I get back to Arizona to get the truck fixed, to run it through emissions to get the new tags. Yeah, been here a while. I told Jeremy, I said, I'll be back. So I gave him the flash drive that has a little tag on it and, the phone number and Facebook, how to reach me and follow the journey. So today, God had me drive 80-something miles to not only look for the tool that I need, the trailer, but to meet Jeremy. And wow. And to give him music and to tell him that I'm praying for him and his family and, his wife's family and others. I can't imagine what it's like, what they've gone through, and they weren't there. Thank God for them. They weren't there. But all the neighbors that they knew that lost, they said, they're just slabs left, Bobby. I said, I know, I was there. It goes, all these homes, these neighbors that we knew, everything and them, gone. Yeah. But I said, I'm praying and believing for a great revival, a great move of God to bring healing to the communities. So that's my story right now, live. I'm in the hotel. I'm working on music. I got some other flash drives arriving tomorrow. Thank you to those, again, that are praying. Thank you to those that feel led to support. Probably pretty obvious I need support to continue on the journey. Looking forward to not only finishing strong here, but getting to New Mexico for the tent revival with Pastor Caleb Cooper. It's going to be awesome. And then I get to go on to Phoenix for about a week. And maybe I'll even finally get to stop to my home church and do a night of worship there before I turn around and come back to the Hill Country. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Thank you for Greg Miller for doing the documentary series. There'll be another docu-short thing coming out. They are working on a feature film project with some people, so appreciate you praying. Pray, because the documentary series, the shorts, the pieces he's putting together are already going to be leading into a feature film. Nothing happens overnight. This is a 16, 17-year process. Thank you for praying over my health. Yes, I'm down 39 pounds with about another 25 to go. Yes, I'll get there. I'll get there in Jesus' name. So, from my studio here in the YO Hotel Resort in Kerrville, Texas, that's my video for today. Like I said, there'll be links below if you want to help. Thank you so much. I have not forgotten about you people that have DM'd me about the music. Finally finished. Boom! And I will be sending out a playlist. It's 5 of them. Pat Jordan has it right now. And the playlist, including the 3 brand new ones, the playlist itself will be called Peace. And it will include The Heart of Worship. It'll include Turning Point, brand new. And it'll include the Memorial, brand new. So, and a couple others. It's called Peace. And man, do we need it, right? God bless you. Have a great day. Here we go.